Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at this giant Puerto Rico 1897 Special Edition. Puerto Rico, which came out 25 years ago or so, was the #1 ranked game on BoardGameGeek.com for several years. In fact, it's one of the first games I ever bought. When I first found out about these more modern games, I saw that it was ranked so highly, so I bought it. I bought a whole bunch of games that were out there, and this is not the version, obviously. This one is a new one from Awakened Realms, and a joint production between them and Alea. But Puerto Rico is a game that I enjoyed a lot when it first came out. I did not think, when I first played, I'm like, is this really a as great as everyone says it is? But I'll tell you what, at this point in time, I really do think so. Very few games do what Puerto Rico has done over the years. They came out with a very nice 10th anniversary edition. The first edition was not fantastic. I remember counting out the little brown circles so that you had the right number for players, and it was just a very okay production. But again, it came out so many years ago. So this is a nice new production. Now, if you've never heard of Puerto Rico before, I'll go over the base rules for the game. There's some expansions and stuff and extra stuff, and I'm going to show some of that. But I'll go over the base rules for the game, and then we'll be back. There's a lot going on that comes in this box, but it all fits nicely back in the box thanks to a sheet that shows you where everything goes and how to put it together. One of the things in particular I like about this set of Puerto Rico is that you need a certain number of workers and a certain number of victory points per player. So they have them in trays. This is for 2 players. And then if I want to play with a 3rd player, I have some more workers on their different models, so they're easy to separate. But more victory points, more workers. And then for the 4th and 5th player, you can bring the workers out here too. So if you've never played Puerto Rico before, the way the game is, you're going to be getting points. And there are 2 main ways to get points. Some of those are by buildings. Here is a whole tray of buildings, and this game comes with... This is the building tray, and these are all the buildings you can build over the course of the game. But there is a lot of expansion buildings, and you can just replace some of these buildings with those for variety from game to game. But many buildings are worth victory points. You see this one here, for example. The factory is worth 3 victory points. And these big giant buildings at the bottom even have bonus victory points on them. And then I already showed you the victory point tokens, and you get these by shipping goods. The game revolves around roles here. Each round of the game, one person goes first, and the turns take clockwise around the table from that person, and they're going to pick one of these roles. Whichever role they pick, everybody is going to do that, but the person who picks it gets an advantage. So for example, planner, everyone's going to gain an estate, but the person who picks it can take a quarry instead. In builder, everyone gets to build a building, but the person who picks it gets to pay 1 coin less. At the end of a round, all the roles that aren't picked have a coin put on them so that they're more valuable in the next round. The first role is planter. Planter lets you take one of these estates, as I said. There are 5 different kinds of estates: corn, sugar, coffee, tobacco, and fruit. And if you're the person who picks the role, you also can take a quarry, which will make building buildings cheaper. When you take these, you're going to be placing them onto your board here. The ones that are out there, these are pulled randomly from a bag. This is the only randomness in the game. The next role is the recruiter. There's going to be workers that show up here at the work register. At the beginning, there'll be 1 per player, but more of these will show up based on how many empty spots you have in buildings. So everyone, starting with the person who picked the action, will take one. If there's more, whoever goes first might get more. And then whoever picks this tile will get 1 more worker. When you take workers, you can place them on various spots that you have, either in your plantations or in buildings that you have built. When you place these out, you can also rearrange them. This is the only time. And if you have extra, which will happen as time goes by, you'll just keep them over here, where on a future turn, they can be put out onto open spots. The reason you put out these workers, one of the reasons, is this craftsman tile. When you do a craftsman, each of your different estates will produce goods, or has the possibility. Corn is the only one that, if you have a worker there, will produce you some corn. The rest of them, you'll see I have a guy here in coffee, need in a matching building. I have 1 in a coffee roaster, 1 in a coffee, so that will produce some coffee for me. and I have one in a fruit and someone in a small fruit depot, I would get 1 fruit. By the way, love these little crates of bananas and things like that. I have 1 here in sugar, but I do not have a sugar mill to match it, so that doesn't give me any things. The person who picks Craftsman's gets 1 extra crate. Now, these crates are limited, and if there is not enough to take, then in turn order, it's going to determine who gets the crates. Building is pretty easy. When that action is picked, you are going to get to build one of the buildings here. The person who picked it picks first. They also get a coin discount. Each quarry that you have with someone in it will give you a discount. You can use 1 quarry in the top row, 2 on this row, 3 on this row. So you can see the buildings can be expensive. This factory is 7. This one is 8. There are cheaper ones here. Some of them you already know what they're going to do. They're going to match your estate so that you can produce resources. Others give you bonus. Like this, for example, says whenever I sell, I get a coin. This one here says when I build a building, it comes with a worker from the supply. And some of them give endgame scoring if you have a worker in them. Trader allows everyone to sell goods to the little store here. So when you go to the trading post and sell a good, it gives you money. So you can see that corn only gives you nothing, while coffee gives you the most at 4. However, the person who chooses trader will get an extra coin, and there are buildings that might increase the number of coins that you get. There can only be 1 of each type of good sold there. So once, let's say there's fruit sold there, I can't sell another fruit unless I have a building that lets me break that ability, or until it's completely filled with different fruit things. Then it will be all removed and things can be sold there again. The captain is possibly the most important action in the game. This is how you get victory points. Everybody who has goods must ship if possible. So starting with the first player, you can load 1 type of good. So let's say, for example, I have 2 fruit. So I'm going to put that 2 fruit on one of these ships. These ships have different number of spaces based on the number of players. The next person goes and they decide they're going to ship. They have 3 corn, so they put it in this ship here. The player after that has sugar, and they only have 1 sugar, so they put it in this ship here. Then it comes back to my turn. I have 2 corn, so I'm going to put 2 more corn in this spot here. By the way, each time you put these in there, for each thing that you put into a ship, you're going to take 1 victory point. But we come to the next person. That person has coffee, and there's nowhere to put the coffee because the ships are already, they can each only hold 1 type of good. So that person's not going to be able to do it. And we keep going around. If a ship is full, let's say I have 4 corn, it comes my turn, I can only put 2 corn in there. At the end of everyone shipping and getting victory points, and the person who picks the captain gets an extra victory point, after that, anyone who has extra goods, you lose them. You may keep only 1 crate of goods. The rest are lost unless, again, you have a building that lets you get rid of or save some things. I should also mention, depending on the number of players, there also will be adventurer. These roles do nothing for the other players and simply give you a coin. 1 coin isn't a big deal, but remember a coin's added every round. So if there's like 4 coins sitting on this, I might take it just because I want the money. The game will continue until we run out of victory points or we run out of workers, and at that point we add up points and whoever has the most is the winner. The game also comes with a bunch of modules that you can play, some expansions. I already mentioned the new buildings. There are citizens that come that are sort of special workers. There's a lot of different variants that you can play. There's also here on the player mat, there's an automa. Now I should also mention that I have gotten the upgrade that instead of these being thick cardboard tiles, which are really nice actually, but these acrylic tiles are what I prefer to use. And then there is another whole box, and in this box are buildings and upgraded estates. And I gotta be honest, these are really cool, but the problem is when you build a building, you will have to find the building for that exact building and put it on. And I just find that this box is probably a little too much work. There's a little too much here for me. I don't want to have to go grab all this stuff. The acrylic tiles are fantastic. This is for someone who has more time than me, I think. I love Puerto Rico, and I love this version. If you watch this channel, you know that I am not a huge proponent of massive, epic versions of games. Most of them I don't really keep. Some games like Suburbia came in, and it made the game harder to play. When Everdale came out in that giant box, I was like, no, this is just too much in one thing. But sometimes they do it right, and this is one where they have done it right. They really have. I open this up. I can have the whole game set up in a few minutes. Now, don't get me wrong. I certainly understand that there is a cost involved with this. And this is going to be outside some people's price point. There's no question on that. But if you're looking for an Epic Deluxe version, then this is what I would get. I also, and I have them in my game, would get those acrylic tiles because I think they're fantastic. And like I said, I don't think the buildings are really worth it. But they might be to you. But that means I need an extra box to carry the buildings in. And it's just another thing. If I bought this building, now find me the proper building. It looks cool. And Awakened Realms does some great miniatures. I just don't really care if I have that. I also don't even play with most of the expansions. I think, played with most of them in the box at some point or other. The one I will play with the most are the buildings, the extra buildings, because I just changed out a few buildings. Because Puerto Rico, over the years, has a couple things that have come into grips with it where people have talked about it a lot. One is that player turn order really matters in this game. Puerto Rico is one of those games that plays really well with all the player counts. I haven't played much with 2, but 3, 4, and 5. And there's very few Euro-style games that play well with 5, and Puerto Rico is one of those. But it is a cutthroat, in-your-face game because I might pick shipping just because I know you have a lot of goods to ship and there's no ships to put them on, and I'm going to shut you down. Or I might buy a building right before you are and buy the building you were going to buy. There's a lot of that goes on in this game. And so a newcomer to the game, I've met people before who've jumped in a game with experts, and they just have come out feeling a little beat up because there's just so much going on, and turn order really matters. I found that Puerto Rico works best when everyone is new or when everyone's experts at it. And I played a game with everyone knowing what they're doing in Puerto Rico, and it is kind of a sublime experience because there's just so many cool things that happen in there. But when you change out the buildings, it keeps it from going, well, on turn 2, I always buy the small market or whatever it might be. Now that the small market might not be there or whatever building, and it causes some diversity in strategy. But I still love the concept of this game. It's so neat. There's those 2 main ways to get points, which is building buildings and shipping goods. But there's so many ways to get more money and so many do I want to sell goods? Do I want to go for coffee, or just want to produce corn? And it feels smooth. That's what I love about this game. So when picks in action, you're like, all right. And you're constantly doing something. There's no downtime in this game other than perhaps maybe I'm waiting for you to pick which building you're going to build. But frankly, other than that, it's shipping goods. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, you're going to ship that. I'll ship that. I'll ship that. Oh, good. I can get all my stuff on ships. Or I bought my own private ship, so I don't really care. I can always ship one set of goods that way. And so having the buildings, giving you special power, I just find this game to be fantastic. Puerto Rico, for me, is a game that has done well for me at the beginning. Then it waned a bit, and now it's back. And now Puerto Rico's at the point where I think it's an absolutely unbelievably great game. I love it. I want to play it all the time. With this version, it is a 10 out of 10 for me. This is fantastic. Again, I want to acknowledge the price point, and also there's a size factor, but I will play this enough to make it worth it for me. And a lot of this production makes it really easy. You pull out the tray of buildings. I love the player counts for the different workers and the victory points. It makes it so much easier to set up and get on the table. It looks beautiful, and it plays like a dream. Nowadays, I like where Euro games have gone, but there's a lot of point salad, just huge engines, 1,000 pieces, everything going on. And this game feels elegant even today. It is absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend it. So there you go, Puerto Rico 1897 Special Edition. Check it out from Awakened Realms. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.